We've built a world that promises limitless connection. So why does a new report reveal a devastating secret? Over 60% of young people are choosing partners not out of love, but out of a paralyzing fear of being alone.
When the notifications stop and the noise of the day fades, what are you left with?
Welcome to Bookcast Keep 12. Today, we're dissecting a painful truth. Why your loneliness attracts toxic people.
It's a primal fear, really. It makes us jump into almost any relationship just to escape that torment of being alone,
Yeah.
to fill what feels like an empty vessel inside.
But this desperate escape, it's a trap, pulling you into a relentless, self-perpetuating cycle of toxic connections. And these connections only deepen the very void you're trying to fill in the first place.
And the consequences, they go far beyond just a broken heart,
Yep.
much further.
Yeah, these attachments do more than just drain your vital energy. They create chaotic karmic ties and can pull you completely off your life's true path. It's quite serious.
But what if the solution isn't really about finding someone else? What if it's finally learning how to truly be with yourself?
Stay with us as we uncover how to break this cycle and transform the feel of being alone into your greatest strength.
Okay, let's unpack this straight away. We need to focus on this fundamental disconnect that seems to be everywhere now. We're living in this time that just worships productivity, strength, hyper-independence.
Right. The message is constant, isn't it? You've got to hustle, be totally self-sufficient, build your empire, often presented as doing it all solo.
Exactly. But the analysis we're really digging into today suggests this very push for, rugged individual strength. It often cultivates this hidden, almost insidious vulnerability.
It's a total paradox. The harder we try to project that we're strong and don't need anyone, the weaker our actual internal foundation might become.
And what's really insightful here is how this facade of independence is kept up. It seems like it's this constant, almost frantic effort to stay distracted.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the sheer volume of things in modern life designed purely for diversion. You've got the relentless demands of work, sure, but then there's the infinite scroll on entertainment platforms. The constant buzz of social media.
Right. And what you might call placeholder relationships, those superficial connections that, well, they take up time and space, but offer zero genuine nourishment.
It's like a constant background hum designed to keep the internal silence from creeping in.
Precisely. The argument is that the main function of all this is busyness.
Yeah.
It isn't really about enrichment. It's more like preventative maintenance against loneliness.
It systematically pulls our attention away from what the source material calls the profound depths of our inner selves.
Yeah. If we're always doing, always busy, we never have to stop and just be with ourselves.
And it's exactly when that noise finally fades, maybe the phone goes quiet or you're just standing alone in your apartment late at night, that's when the real root cause of this fear starts to surface, isn't it?
And that root cause, it isn't just about the absence of other people. It's much deeper than simple circumstance.
Okay, so how is it defined then?
Well, the material clearly distinguishes between being alone, which is just, a situational thing, and loneliness, which is described as this internal, almost existential dread.
A dread. Where does that come from?
It seems to originate from a fundamental, often completely unacknowledged inability to cultivate a genuine, authentic, and importantly, compassionate relationship with oneself.
So, if you're basically a stranger to yourself,
How can you possibly bear the silence of your own company? It becomes unbearable.
okay, that's the psychological mechanism that creates the empty vessel idea.
Exactly. If we haven't bothered to nurture our inner world, if we haven't processed our past experiences or defined our values outside of what other people think, the psyche fragments.
It becomes this deep, aching void.
And what does a void naturally do?
Yeah.
It relentlessly seeks external stuff to fill it. Anything.
Creating a psychological deficit so sharp, so acute, that the main goal just becomes stopping the pain, regardless of the cost.
Yes. This unbearable internal emptiness acts as a powerful driver. It compels people to indiscriminately embrace anyone, and I really mean anyone who offers even the slightest, most temporary hint of connection.
The bar for entry into your life just drops to basically zero.
It turns into this desperate, almost primal escape. You stop looking for someone compatible, someone who aligns with you.
And start looking for an emergency exit from your own mind.
You plunge headfirst into relationships because the only motivation, the overriding one, is just to quiet that inner turmoil.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with thoughtful consideration or shared values.
It's just about not being alone right now, this minute,
And that rush, that sheer desperation, that's the low-frequency signal we're talking about, the one that unfortunately attracts suffering. It's your own vulnerability turned against you.
So before we get into the specifics of that energetic pull, I want you, listening, to maybe reflect on your own relationship history for a moment. Look back at the last few significant connections you formed, friendships, romantic partners, whatever. Think honestly about your own patterns. When was the last time you might have rushed into something significant? Maybe just to avoid the silence, just to bypass that really uncomfortable feeling of sitting alone with your own thoughts, your own unprocessed stuff.
That's a powerful question to sit with.
Okay, let's dive into the physics of this attraction, the energetic mechanism, as the sources put it.
Right. The core principle here is that our internal state, our thoughts, our feelings, our fears, projects an energetic frequency. And low vibrational energy, which is the energy of desperation, fear, lack,
Mm-hmm.
it tends to attract similar or often even lower frequency energies.
Now, that can sound a bit abstract, maybe a bit woo-woo to some. How does this low frequency actually show up in behavior?
That's a fair question. It's
Yeah.
actually very observable. In practice, it manifests as things like really poor boundaries, chronic over-eagerness to please, maybe a willingness to accept absolute crumbs of attention or affection.
A desperate need for approval.
Exactly. And all those characteristics, they are immediately recognizable and unfortunately highly appealing to individuals who thrive on control or drama or emotional siphoning, your classic toxic partner types.
Ah, so the vulnerability signals the usability in a way?
Precisely. And the cycle that results from this is just merciless. The initial state of deep loneliness born from that inner void, it subtly shifts into an entanglement with these toxic, draining relationships.
And because those relationships are inherently draining.
They make the original inner emptiness even worse. And they severely erode whatever little bit of self-worth you might have had left. You go in feeling lonely, and you come out feeling lonelier and profoundly depleted. Used up.
Which brings us to the tragic irony amplified by our digital age. This is something the sources really explore quite extensively.
Yeah, we're supposedly a generation addicted to connection, right? Social media held out this promise of boundless connectivity, making it easier to interact.
But instead, it seems to have fostered this massive cultural displacement. People seem to mistakenly equate the sheer volume of digital noise with genuine human warmth. And they're not the same thing at all.
Not even close. We spend so much time curating these idealized, heavily filtered online profiles. We collect thousands of virtual friends, rack up countless digital likes and comments.
Validation hits.
Right. But as the sources really highlight, in this hyper-connected yet fundamentally superficial digital world, a pervasive and isolating sense of emptiness has actually become a defining feature for many.
You can have this huge online network, an impressive list of contacts, yet struggle profoundly to name even one genuine confidant, one person who truly knows the real, unedited you.
Mm-hmm. And this superficiality, it spills directly over into how we approach romantic dynamics too. Our whole approach to finding love or connection seems to have accelerated and, frankly, deteriorated.
Relationships get started based on fleeting convenience, maybe just a few casual, low-effort messages.
And they dissolve just as quickly. Often the moment things require any real depth or vulnerability or effort, poof, gone.
They're built on these really shaky foundations of just transient emotional needs, not the solid bedrock of deep mutual understanding or respect or actual authentic emotional connection.
And this frantic search for some kind of external fix is the direct, unavoidable consequence of that internal deficit we talked about.
We lack self-support. Our self-confidence wavers constantly.
And we often possess this tragically underdeveloped sense of self-worth. Because think about it, if I don't truly value my own company, why on earth would I demand that a potential partner be genuinely worthy of it? The standard just isn't there.
Which brings us to the data point that really anchors this whole deep dive. This isn't just a feeling or an anecdote, it's a documented social crisis. The East Asian Sociopsychology Report from 2024, it offers a truly startling revelation.
Yes, that report. It focused heavily on rapidly modernizing societies, places where that external pressure for success often completely overshadows internal well-being. They surveyed young adults across 5 major East Asian cities.
And the finding was
Alarming, frankly. Over 60% of the young people surveyed openly admitted to entering relationships not out of genuine love or affection or even basic compatibility.
but purely out of an overwhelming, and they use the word incapacitating, fear of being alone.
60%. Just
Yeah.
let that sink in. Think about the implications of that number.
It means the majority of relationships started in that demographic, at least, are beginning from a place of deficit and need to plug a hole, essentially, not from a place of abundance or wholeness, which is what real partnership needs.
It suggests this vast relational architecture built almost entirely on mutual fear and avoidance. It's sobering.
And that word incapacitating is key, isn't it?
Absolutely. It means the fear is so strong it overrides rational thought. It overrides basic self-preservation instincts. It even overrides the simple human desire for a healthy, happy relationship.
They'll choose any relationship, no matter how obviously detrimental it might be to their long-term mental health or their life goals.
Just to avoid the silence. Just to avoid being alone with themselves.
And the tragic irony, as we touched on, is that many people immediately regret these rushed, poorly thought out choices. But because that core internal void, the root problem, remains completely unaddressed.
They get trapped. They just keep seeking external validation, maybe using their partners as temporary emotional bandages, perpetually avoiding the deep internal work that's actually required for liberation.
It sounds like the toxic relationship itself becomes just another distraction.
Exactly. It's a drama to occupy the mind, another way to prevent the person from ever having to sit in that silence they fear so much. It's a perfect closed loop of self-sabotage.
It makes you wonder what other societal trends point towards this high tolerance for dissatisfaction, as long as it's not experienced alone.
Well, the constant comparison culture fueled by social media is a huge one. If everyone else appears perfectly connected and deliriously happy online,
Which is usually a performance.
right, the pressure to replicate that external appearance becomes immense, even if your reality behind the screen is miserable. It's performative connection completely replacing genuine intimacy.
So the stakes here are clearly much higher than just, temporary heartbreak or a bad date. The source material really pushes us beyond simple emotional distress.
Yeah, it gets into the deeper, longer-term impact, how this kind of toxicity fundamentally alters an individual's energetic state, their aura, and critically, their actual life path, their destiny, if you will.
Okay, let's connect that. If we look at the bigger picture, how do toxic relationships act as these conduits for negative energy?
Well, think of it this way. When you willingly entangle yourself energetically with individuals whose own internal fields are really chaotic, imbalanced, stagnant, or maybe chronically aggrieved, perhaps they play the perpetual victim, or they're controlling.
You inevitably get caught up in their negativity.
Exactly. You become ensnared.
Yeah.
It's not just about absorbing their pessimism, though that's part of it.
So how does that energetic drain manifest more concretely? Physically, spiritually?
The sources detail some pretty specific and debilitating effects. Your vital life force the energy that should be going towards your own goals. Your well-being, your creativity gets relentlessly siphoned off.
Okay.
This leads to things like profound physical exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fix, a kind of chronic spiritual weariness, unstable emotional states, anxiety, unpredictable mood swings.
Your emotional, mental bandwidth gets hijacked.
Completely hijacked. The toxic partner is essentially drawing your vital energy, your attention, your focus, your emotional labor, leaving you utterly depleted and, crucially, highly vulnerable to even more negative influences.
That's why people in these situations often say they feel like a shadow of their former self. There's literally less them there.
Precisely. And this ties directly into the concept of karma that the material explores. We often think of karma quite simplistically, maybe like a cosmic score sheet.
Right. Good deeds versus bad deeds.
But here, it's presented more as a system of binding relational patterns. Relationships that are born purely out of escapism or desperation or fear. They simply cannot foster wholesome, clean, karmic ties. It's energetically impossible.
So what do they create instead?
They create intricate, painful, and heavy karmic attachments. These are like sticky relational patterns that bind the individual to recurring cycles of suffering, persistent self-doubt, and this gnawing inner torment.
Wow.
Every single time we cling on to a superficial relationship that offers no real value, no genuine growth, simply because the fear of being alone feels too overwhelming, we are, in effect, inadvertently betraying the higher purpose our soul actually yearns for.
It's like self-sabotage disguised as a survival tactic.
Perfectly put. By prioritizing that non-constructive attachment, we impose these severe self-limitations. We miss invaluable opportunities for personal mastery, for positive growth, for actually learning the lessons we need to learn.
We choose stagnation because it feels safer in the moment than difficult, temporary solitude.
hmm And the ultimate consequence of all this, the final destination, if you stay on this track, is the impact on destiny, what the sources call the fatal detour.
A fatal detour.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Individuals who carry this pervasive, incapacitating fear of loneliness are fundamentally destabilized internally. This makes them easily swayed, easily manipulated, and highly susceptible to exploiters or just deeply emotionally draining partnerships.
Why is that? What makes them so susceptible?
Because the exploiter, or the deeply needy person, often projects this outward appearance of unwavering strength or independence or competence, precisely the qualities the vulnerable person desperately feels they lack within themselves. It looks like a solution.
So instead of moving forward purposefully on their own unique journey, self-development, finding fulfillment, they get pulled off course.
Significantly and often tragically off course. We see this play out as years, sometimes decades of stagnation. The person becomes so completely ensnared in just managing the drama and chaos of the toxic connection.
That they squander precious time, vital energy, invaluable opportunities.
Exactly. Think about the sheer opportunity cost. Think about the careers put on indefinite hold, the educational goals abandoned, the artistic talents that just withered away on the vine.
All because a draining relationship demanded 100% of their attention and focus.
Right. The detour doesn't just last a few months. It can steal entire decades, leaving people permanently unfulfilled, often haunted by that nagging question of what ifs. What could they have become? The sources really emphasize this. Vulnerability stemming from loneliness is a prime tool for manipulation, and it causes life-altering delays.
How often really have you seen friends or people you know prioritize the constant chaos of a toxic relationship? The fighting, the rescuing, the endless drama over their own true passions or goals?
All the time. That draining relationship becomes the main character in their life story, completely eclipsing their own identity.
It almost becomes a replacement identity, doesn't it?
It does. If you don't really know who you are when you're alone, then being defined as the partner of the chaotic person or the one who always saves them, it provides this perverse sense of purpose, even if it's ultimately destructive.
But the good news here, and this is the crucial turning point in the analysis, is that this destructive cycle, it's not actually unbreakable.
No, definitely not. But to truly liberate yourself from the relentless grip of loneliness and this cycle of toxicity, a fundamental, profound transformation is required. It's not a quick fix.
And this transformation is all about consciously redirecting that desperate outward focus back inward. It's about building a robust, unshakable inner strength.
Yes, and the material outlines three really powerful pillars for this transformation. They're rooted in radical self-honesty and a deep commitment to change. Pillar one is the absolute foundation. Cultivate quality solitude.
And this isn't just passive isolation, hiding away.
Not at all. It's intentional, productive engagement with the self. It starts with daily disconnection. Dedicate at least 1 hour, make it sacred, every single day to being entirely free from screens, notifications, all digital distractions. A non-negotiable pause.
And in that hour,
Consciously engage in activities that really foster deep introspection. Maybe contemplative writing, focused mindfulness meditation, or just immersing yourself completely in a physical book. The point is to deliberately interrupt that external dependency loop.
that hour allows you to actually tune in to your own inner dialogue, doesn't it? Your intuitions, the emotions you've been pushing down.
Exactly. It helps build an authentic relationship with your true self, not the curated version you put out for others. The second step within this pillar is befriending the self through consistent journaling.
But not just like a diary of what happened today.
No, an emotional journal. Diligently recording your feelings, the deeper thoughts behind your actions, your hopes, your dreams, your fears, and crucially, you need to periodically revisit those entries.
How? Like reviewing notes.
Kind of, but with a compassionate, analytical eye, like a kind mentor reviewing your emotional progress. This practice is incredibly effective for understanding your own complex inner landscape, for processing difficult emotions, and for consciously releasing that lingering negativity or unresolved stuff that keeps you feeling fragmented.
Okay. And the third part of quality solitude.
This one demonstrates real mastery, embracing public solitude. Consciously practice being comfortably, confidently alone in public spaces. Go to a cafe alone, Sit on a park bench, visit a museum by yourself.
Without immediately reaching for the phone as a shield.
Exactly. The goal is to learn to genuinely savor your private space, to observe the world around you without feeling that constant magnetic pull for external validation. No nervous phone checking, no fidgeting. This builds profound internal resilience and a deep, unwavering sense of self-sufficiency.
Okay, so that's pillar one, building the inner relationship. Pillar two is about purification, right? Clearing the ground.
Yes. Cleanse your entire system of toxic connections. This requires radical honesty and decisive action. It starts with a social media detox.
Which mean?
Strategically unfollow or mute all accounts that consistently trigger feelings of inadequacy, envy, resentment, or just pointless comparison. You have to curate an uplifting digital feed. It's not a luxury anymore. It's essential spiritual maintenance.
If an account doesn't genuinely inspire growth or positive feelings or authentic connection, it needs to go, period.
And then you have to tackle the real-world energy drains, pruning superficial relationships.
How do you do that gracefully?
Gracefully but firmly. You disengage from connections that are characterized solely by idle chatter, trivial gossip, or those superficial confessions where people just dump their problems on you with no intention of finding solutions.
The ones that offer no real support or depth?
Exactly. These connections are insidious energy drains. They eat up your precious time and emotional bandwidth without providing any genuine, authentic value in return. If a relationship only exists for complaining or offloading stress, it's a distraction you simply cannot afford anymore.
That's a tough one for many people, and a next step under cleansing.
This one is critical for breaking the cycle we're discussing. A dating pause. If your inner self feels unstable, fragmented, shaky, or fundamentally ungrounded, which is often the case when you're emerging from that void.
You have to consciously, intentionally pause all dating activities for a defined period.
Yes, and this isn't punishment. It's essential, focused work. You use this vital period to fully heal past relationship wounds, to rediscover your authentic self, and to meticulously build a strong, unwavering internal foundation before you even think about entertaining new romantic possibilities.
That internal stability you build, that's the key that unlocks pillar three, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Pillar 3. Build a charismatic aura that attracts the right people. Because when you successfully raise your internal frequency, you fundamentally change the quality of your external results. Like attracts like.
So how do you build that aura?
Consistency is everything. Start with daily self-investment. Commit a dedicated minimum, say, 30 minutes every single day to focused, rigorous personal training.
Physical or mental?
Either or both. It could be physical exercise, focused intellectual learning, studying something new, or profound, dedicated meditation. These consistent, intentional practices dramatically elevate your energetic aura. As you diligently invest in yourself and cultivate genuine self-respect, your personal frequency naturally rises.
And that acts as a magnet.
A powerful magnet, attracting individuals who resonate deeply with that positive vibration you're now putting out. You also need a clear target, though.
Which leads to define your desired connections.
Yes. Meticulously write down in vivid detail the precise qualities you're looking for. And I don't mean superficial stuff like hair color or job title. I mean core characteristics. Integrity, emotional maturity, shared ambition perhaps, kindness, respect.
The things that actually matter for a healthy connection.
Exactly. This mental exercise, this clarity, helps you unconsciously shape your own behavior and energy to become a magnetic match for those qualities. It makes it far easier to recognize truly aligned individuals when they do show up.
And the final part of building this aura.
It's the lifestyle component, high vibrational living. This means consciously sending out positive, aligned signals through every action you take.
Like what?
Keep your promises, big and small. Prioritize the diligent care of your physical body because your body houses your spirit, it affects your energy. Actively cultivate a peaceful, harmonious inner existence through mindfulness or whatever works for you.
When you live with unwavering integrity and a deep sense of inner peace,
you naturally radiate powerful, positive energy, and that effortlessly draws good people, genuine, non-toxic opportunities, and healthier situations into your orbit.
Okay, another moment for reflection for our listeners. If you were to do a really rigorous emotional and energetic audit of your phone right now, which contacts, which social media accounts are consistently draining your peace, your focus, your precious time?
Naming that drain that contact who only calls to complain. That friend who constantly stirs up drama or gossip, just acknowledging it honestly is the essential first step toward permanently stopping it.
That awareness is powerful.
To really ground these pillars, the sources offer a concrete case study. It illustrates this journey from depletion to self-completion beautifully.
Okay, let's hear it.
It highlights the story of a young woman just 22 years old. A mere 3 months after a really painful, defining breakup, she impulsively rushed straight into a new romantic relationship.
And her motivation.
Explicitly stated. Not love, not even attraction, but that overwhelming, incapacitating fear of being alone we've been talking about.
Okay. And what happened over the next 6 months?
Predictably, the situation devolved rapidly. She became deeply unhappy, completely trapped in repeating the same old destructive relationship patterns from her past. And quite agonizingly, she lost all sense of direction in her career, which was just starting.
The destiny detour in action.
Exactly. Her energy was so utterly consumed by managing the toxicity and the drama of the relationship that her own life goals just faded into the background, disappeared.
So what was her turning point?
It only came when she found the immense courage to just stop the momentum, to pause, confront her true raw feelings, and articulate them with unwavering, painful honesty.
She had to name the fear.
Yes. She looked at herself deep down and finally spoke the truth of her inner state. I'm not ready to truly love anyone right now. I just desperately need someone, anyone, to fill this aching emptiness inside me. She named the void, not the inadequate partner filling it.
Wow, that takes guts.
It really does. But that single moment of courageous self-awareness, that was the transformative key. From that pivotal point forward, she systematically, deliberately cut off all the negative and draining contacts in her life.
Pillar 2, cleansing.
Right. She then embarked on this journey of deep, disciplined self-reflection, engaging Pillar 1 and 2 practices, and began painstakingly rebuilding her life from the inside out, focusing solely on achieving internal completion, not finding another person.
And she realized the fundamental truth.
A liberating truth. True, lasting happiness isn't found by frantically searching for others to plug your internal holes. It's found in the courageous, disciplined, and yes, often challenging process of healing yourself, completing yourself, and truly loving yourself first.
She shifted her entire goal from finding external validation to achieving internal completion.
Exactly. And that self-completion realization helps us map out the entire psychological trap the sources call the victim mentality ecosystem. It's like a self-locking mechanism, completely fueled by fear.
Okay, let's walk through that ecosystem step by step. Where does this start?
It begins with the empty self. That fundamental state of inner deficit we discussed, characterized by a lack of self-connection, low self-worth. This internal state inevitably generates and is sustained by the intense fear of loneliness.
Okay, empty self leads to fear of loneliness. Then what?
That pervasive, overwhelming fear makes you highly susceptible, incredibly vulnerable to getting involved with the wrong person. You overlook red flags, you make compromises you shouldn't.
Which almost inevitably results in forming toxic relationships.
Precisely, and the emotional and energetic cost of being in those toxic connections.
That's where the chaotic emotions, severe energy depletion, and heavy karmic attachments come in. Those binding patterns of suffering we talked about.
Right. This relentless internal turmoil, this constant drain, results in a significant loss of direction and further self-devaluation. Your sense of purpose erodes, your identity gets lost beneath the pressure of managing the relationship drama.
And that profound sense of being adrift, purposeless, devalued.
It locks the entire cycle. It sends you right back to the beginning, perpetuating a renewed and desperate search for others to fill the void. Because the original problem, the empty self, was never addressed.
The only way out is breaking that link between the empty self and the fear of loneliness by building that internal foundation.
It truly is a perfect self-locking trap. The fear creates the deficit attracts the wrong person, and the wrong person keeps you trapped by draining you of the very energy you need to fix the original problem. It's vicious.
So if you recognize yourself anywhere on that map, anywhere in that ecosystem, the key message is that the entire structure collapses once you build that internal strength, that self-completion.
Absolutely. That's the escape hatch.
So let's try and synthesize this whole profound journey. The ultimate goal here, it seems, is not about becoming a hermit or isolating yourself forever. That's not the point.
Not at all. The goal is to cultivate the profound art of being alone without ever succumbing to that debilitating emotional state we call loneliness. They are different things.
Yeah. It's about transforming that perceived void, that emptiness inside, into a sacred, cherished space, almost like an inner sanctuary.
Exactly. A sanctuary where you can consistently go to restore your vital energy, recharge, and reconnect with your truest spiritual path, your actual purpose in life.
And when you finally achieve that profound strength, that inner serenity, that quiet confidence to genuinely and comfortably be alone.
Then that insidious, controlling fear of emptiness,
Mm-hmm.
it just naturally dissipates. It loses its power over you.
Right.
The frantic, desperate need for external fulfillment simply ceases to dictate your major life choices or define your sense of inherent worth.
At that pivotal, transformative point, you become, maybe for the first time, truly complete, inherently independent.
You're no longer operating from a place of neediness or lack, but from a place of sufficiency, of wholeness.
Yeah.
And you start radiating this undeniable, healthy inner light.
It is only then, from that place of wholeness.
Only then that you become truly ready and, frankly, worthy of attracting a special companion. A genuine, enriching relationship that's founded on mutual respect, deep understanding, authentic love, and shared growth.
Rather than one born out of fear, desperation, or just trying to fill a perceived lack within yourself.
That's the ultimate worthiness. And it's achieved not by searching frantically outside yourself, but by diligently building within.
To leave you all with a final thought, drawing from our material. Just as a magnificent, healthy tree can only bear sweet, nourishing, and abundant fruit when its roots are strong, deeply anchored, and resilient.
An individual can only cultivate lasting, fulfilling, and truly enriching relationships when they possess a steadfast, peaceful, and profoundly complete inner self. The outer reflects the inner, always.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive on the Bookcast Story Show.
If this exploration resonated with you and perhaps empowered your own journey, please do take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more content. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sam.
And I'm Lily. We hope this knowledge empowers your journey.